Hello, Valeriya. Thank you so much for your submission and for this written rationale. This really gives me a lot to go on in terms of how to approach this critique and understanding what you understand and what needs to be worked on. So I really appreciate this detailed written uh, summary of your experience with the banner ads. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go and take a look. One thing I want to mention is this. Okay, so you look at the if you look at the banner and the when you look at the magazine ad itself, the focal point is the girl, and it's just such a dramatic image that is what the viewer takes away from that ad. It's that dramatic image of that girl that's diving into that mystical experience, kind of this surreal dream state that you've established in the magazine ad. Now, we need to ask this question, is that successfully adapted in the magazine ad, in the banner ad? And I'd have to say that unequivocally the answer is no, it's not, because the main focal point from the magazine ad is not present in the banner ad. Now, you said that you were having difficulty. Now, I recommend that you do this work, that you go ahead and do the scaling, adjust the colors, adjust your mask, crop accordingly. By the way, this video over here in week 5 shows you how to crop to 1280 by 300 at 150 ppi. It's a great technique in Photoshop, one of the most advanced techniques in Photoshop. I use it daily, several times a day when I'm doing image adjustments and and preparing images for different mediums. So definitely want to take a look at that. Now, I have a feeling we can fit that in here. I know we can, and I think that it's a challenge, but I would recommend you do it. We're shooting for the reaction to your student portfolio, right? So that's what I'm shooting for, and that's what I'm shooting for in all of my comments and all of my critiques, is pointing towards the end goal. The end goal is a dynamite piece for your student portfolio, and that is where the bulk of my recommendations lie. So as you can see, now suppose you have this in a student portfolio, and a potential hiring professional wants to hire you, and they look at your work and they say, well, wait a second, this isn't very cohesive. I'm not understanding this campaign. Does this designer understand how cohesive an advertising campaign needs to be? Okay, and I'm not trying to be discouraging. I'm just giving you this scenario that I think is critically important. For that reason, I would suggest that you include the girl in the. Now the turtle covers the requirements. Okay, I'm not. You don't have to. I mean, if this is what you want for your final magazine ad, that's fine. I understand that. It's not required. I think right now you have a pretty good adaptation with the turtle, and the turtle is a masked image, so you are covering the requirements in that regard. However, as I said, I think just to preserve the cohesive and the consistency, the cohesive nature, the consistency and the harmony in the campaign itself, I think that with a dramatic image like you have in the magazine ad, I think it's really important to include that same drama in the banner ad. Okay, in terms of page construction, I've got the banner ad up somewhere here. Where the heck? Here it is, right here. Okay, so it's a nice looking banner. It really is. I mean, I think that there's a couple of issues with the banner ad in terms of mechanics, page mechanics, and page layout. Right now, there's this big void in the middle of the ad. We've got all of the visual weight pushed to the sides of the ad, and that creates somewhat of an uncomfortable visual tension. I think there's a couple of things we can do to really improve the synergy of this ad, and I'm just going to run this by you. But as I said, I would like to see you add the girl if that's possible. But if you elect not to, and basically a basic critique of this configuration is this. Deep dive into a mystical experience. I would recommend that you close the space between I would recommend you close the space down between these letters. The space between the letters in dive deep is really, really wide. I think it's too wide. I would reduce that size. Then an into mystical experience. That acts as a subhead, right? So dive deep into mystical experience. I would probably consider title case on this. So cap I, cap M, cap E. But that's good preservation of the required typefaces. Now, get 2 nights free. That's animated. What I would recommend is we move this type in just a little bit. Start at probably where the I begins instead of where that D goes. We'll just start to move into this area right here to try to fill that with a little bit of visual weight. Okay, so you have deep dive now. Right now, what you could even do is take this animation and move it and align it with the D and deep, and then start your animation there. What I would recommend is adding a sentence before the get 2 nights free. So, this month's promotion or something, or be sure to take advantage of this month's promotion and then get 2 nights free, something like that. But only the get 2 nights free would be animated. So you would have that static. Be sure to take advantage of this month's promotion, get 2 nights free animated. Then we will take this masked turtle and just move it in the composition just a little bit, and that's going to redistribute the weight associated with the composition. I think it's going to improve quite a bit. My only other recommendation is to include the location somewhere. Okay, it's very important because this is located in what arguably the most beautiful waters on Earth. So we want to use that to reinforce the branding of the client. So even something like right up here, located in beautiful U.S. Virgin Islands, or something like that. And that's it. Those are my only recommendations. Now, my final, actually, I shouldn't say that. I do have one more. You mentioned something right over here. Where is it? Right here. You mentioned that I took the darkest part of the ocean. I split the headline into 2 lines because it was too long. I changed the color of the font for a better contrast and harmony and made a solid purple layer to visually divide the text in the image. We don't want to do that as designers. We want to create a synergy between text and image. We don't want to divide. We don't want to separate the text from the image. We want the image to work in concert with the type and not appearing like they're separate. So basically, by adding this box, it almost looks like the type has been like pasted on top of the image as opposed to integrated within the image. My recommendation is to move that purple box. I don't think you need it at all. Try it. Let me know what you think. All right, those are my recommendations. I'd like to see your reactions on this, and I'd like to see those changes reflected in your final submission, which is coming up very quickly next week in week 7. So fantastic job so far. If you have any questions at all, Valeriya, please let me know. Thank you very much.